What is ceteris paribus in economics? Our junior tutor has written ceteris paribus means holding other things constant. Since economic situations are so complex and many things can happen at the same time, economists simplify them to better explain patterns and make predictions of the future. Ceteris paribus is assumed to simplify and focus on understanding the impact of an economic factor or variable to another without the effect of other variables. Essentially the same meaning, but I was always taught that ceteris paribus meant holding all else constant. Keyword being all. It really is the same thing. I'm nitpicking, but I found it easier to remember because it means we're only changing single variable. Everything else stays the same. So for example, I'm getting ahead of myself here. Let me finish writing. So holding all else constant, and for example, whenever we make a change, so say we've got typical supply and demand graph here, so we've got Q on the x-axis, P in the y-axis, and supply sloping up, demand sloping down. Of course, the point they meet is called the equilibrium. So when we say, oh, we're making a change to supply, we're making a change to demand. In this case, maybe I'll say, yeah, an especially harsh winter destroys a lot of the crops that farmers would grow. As a result, the supply of corn falls. When we say that, it's a ceteris paribus assumption because we're assuming that demand stays the same. So for us to say, okay, what is the effect of this harsh winter in the supply of crops? We say, okay, well, look, if we move the supply curve, then the equilibrium quantity falls and the price goes up. So there's not as much corn, and so it costs more if you want corn. But this is ceteris paribus because we left the demand curve straight. So say at the same winter that people really have a craving for corn the summer after for whatever reason, and the demand for corn increases, then we might actually see, let me draw this slightly differently. If we included this effect at the same time, we might actually see the quantity supplied, the equilibrium quantity, increase, and the price also shoot way up. But that would not just show the effect of the decrease in supply from the harsh winter. It would show the effects of the change in supply and the change in demand. So that's why we typically do things ceteris paribus, so we can tease out the exact effect that comes from the supply shortage and not the supply and demand effect. Move on now to question 9.